Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This reading is going to be for the sign of Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus sign. This is your 2021 year ahead. I'm using the Cosmic Tarot, and we'll get clarifiers, and then we'll get a couple oracle card guidance at the end. Look at that, 6 of Wands, and you have the 4 of Pentacles that was just here as I picked up the deck. So I was feeling for you like there could be a lot of changes for you happening around like work or the home. It just feels like it's sort of like related to like status. Okay. So apply that however it may resonate. And it definitely, like, I don't really go back and watch the readings. I really should do that more often, especially because I have Scorpio in my chart. But, yeah, like it feels like it's really in line with like messages we've been picking up for you during the year, which has been a lot about sort of like, you know, really sort of grounding yourself, but it's for the purposes of kind of like moving up, right? Like, you know, stepping into sort of like a leadership role or elevating, right? You have the 6 of Swords here. So again, for some of you, especially if it's like changes around the homes, could involve relocating or traveling, of course, or of course, you know, the travel aspect could have to do with work as well. So let's just see, what are the messages for Scorpio, Spirit, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, Scorpio? These are longer readings. It is also a style of personal readings that I offer. If that's something that you're interested, you have a strength card coming up here. So I feel like, you know, you've gone through a lot necessarily, right? So that you can sort of develop that sense of internal strength. And now I feel like now is like when you're really being called. It's like almost like letting your roar out, right? Very fire energy. I think we just went into Capricorn season today. I'm like late on filming these readings. So when I had intended to record your reading over the weekend, happy solstice, by the way, in great conjunction. It was still Sagittarius season, and obviously strength can also represent Leo or Aries, right? Okay, Scorpio. Ooh, right out the gate, Ace of Swords. There's that 4 of Pentacles again, Ace of Wands, 5 of Pentacles reversed, the World, 9 of Wands, 2 of Cups. So, wow, for some of you, this could also be talking about, you know, a significant soulmate connection there, right? With all this Cups energy coming out. Seems like, especially maybe the latter part of the year, you know, though it could be connected to like some sort of communication that you receive or someone, you know, that you meet, or sort of an opportunity that comes forward towards the beginning of the year. And we'll talk about it. Ace of Cups. Where am I here? Hold on. I have to like, I always get like a little, come on here. If anyone saw the Aries reading, the setup was like all types of fucked up. I think I'm doing better this time. Let's hope. Okay, and Prince of Swords. I know you can't really see everything, but we always talk about all the cards, so not to worry. And again, if you want a personal style, as always, if the reading resonates, that 6 of Wands is there again. Let's see what you have. The Justice card, Libra energy. Of course, some of you may have Libra. You may be dealing with, you know, legal issues or things that involve contracts. Again, that would fall in line with, you know, themes around home or work. You know, if you are dealing with like a legal situation, does portend a positive outcome. So your very first card in January, you have the Ace of Swords. I love this Ace of Swords in this deck. Air energy again, right? If we're talking about a sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. I'm like, do I need to go get my water? I'll probably get it after your reading. But I'm definitely picking up very strongly, like on some sort of communication. And it's almost like I'm getting like initially, it actually really starts sort of within, like it feels almost like kind of like an intuitive download or like a spiritual message, maybe something that you see in a dream, a synchronicity or a sign that you happen to pick up, you know, through like someone or something else, or again, through sort of your own, you know, grounding methods like meditation or journaling. And then I feel like there's some sort of outward thing that happens with that, right? So it's like like I'm almost seeing it like the information comes down to you and then it goes out sort of to others. Okay. Of course, this could be also talking about communication coming towards you. The main thing to sort of focus on is that communicative element. And also when I see this Ace of Swords, it just really highlights for me like that eye of intuition, right? And this sort of illumination and kind of like opening energy, which is reminding me of like that, strength card that we saw, and that, with like Leo and sort of representing the trope of like the lion or the sun. I just feel like it's either been, it's probably a combination thereof, but it's like the accumulation of your past experiences plus whatever this sort of newness is that's coming in for you. And obviously with everything that we have going on today, right? Those of you who are like tuned into spiritual circles, I'm sure you've seen, but yeah, it just feels like a combination of that. And I just really feel like you start off the year quite strongly as a result. It could even be that you get, again, some sort of offer or opportunity right at the outset, right? You have the Four of Pentacles following you here in February, right? Fours, of course, talk about foundations, building stability, security. Again, could be talking about sort of something happening around the home and or work here. I am also getting this energy of like almost like let's say you are sort of like setting out a new venture, right? Or you're going to be traveling more, which obviously with the state of the world, right? It could be like there's a need to have flexibility. I feel like that message is sort of coming across a little bit, but with the Four of Pentacles more in particular, I'm just getting this energy like of needing to like either conserve or like save or like maybe hold back a little bit. It seems to be like you're kind of like storing your reserves for something else, right? So it's almost like, really sort of remembering that phrase of like, it's a marathon and not a sprint, right? Especially if, again, you have some sort of exciting news or opportunity or, some sort of major kind of like spark of an idea or an inspiration that comes in very early in the year, if not before, right? For some of you, this may have already happened. This could be happening right now. In March, you have the Ace of Wands. So I'm getting that, it almost seems like it feels like kind of like a domino effect. And obviously like that's a little bit of like how life is in right time, right? Like it's a little tautological to be like, oh yeah, like everything lined up and aligned, even though that's how it happens. But I do feel like it could be something like specifically related to like this communication, again, whether it's from you or to you. Especially it feels like if it's maybe related to like work or the home. So I'll give you a couple of examples that I'm thinking about. Almost like let's take like a typical work environment, and let's say you have some new idea or something, and it's like that leads to some type of promotion or something along those lines. Or let's take the example of a personal situation. This could be like, you meet someone and like very quickly y'all like want to move in together, right? I'm just seeing like a sort of like 1-2 kind of event happening in the first few months of the year, and it feels very sort of interconnected and related. In April, you have the Five of Pentacles reverse, right? So using, right, those were just examples, not specific things. Could be true for some of you. But it's like whatever happens, okay, whatever these sort of changes are that's happening, and it feels very new again, right? So like a new sort of, again, like position or role or responsibility along those lines, or a new person, right? Or a new environment. Whatever it is seems to really have this tremendous impact on like how you feel. And also I'm feeling like it's, especially if any of you have been sort of dealing with like financial issues or ups and downs, it's like that situation really starts to turn around and turn on its head, and you feel it, right? I feel like it's going to be like, I feel like it's like, it almost feels like it's not just what you feel, but other people, again, there's like some things that are happening that other people can sort of witness and see as well, to be like, wow, like, things are really changing for so-and-so. In May, you have the World card, right? Yet another indicator of change, earth energy here. Okay. when I've been seeing this card lately, like I'm really being drawn to that moon in the back, which almost looks eclipsed, right? So it takes me back to the full moon eclipse in Gemini, right? That air energy. So again, for some of you, this could have already started, but I feel like it's tied to the astrological shifts that we're experiencing, though I'm not an astrologer. So yeah, it's like this change has sort of already started. And again, for a lot of you, it's like you've gone through certain lessons in life that have sort of gotten you to this point, but it's almost like, again, the change and the transformation just feels much more palpable. Okay. And also in like a positive direction. There's another message here, I feel like, in terms of, you know, continuing to sort of, and this is not just in the month of May, this is like sort of a thread, but, you know, really continuing to cultivate and deepen, right? And I use that word very specifically, that sense of grounding, because for a lot of you, like, I just get this sense again that it's almost like your platform, your visibility is expanding, right? So it's like you're just going to sort of, it's like you're getting bigger and bigger, being involved in more. And it's like, as like a tree grows, you know, like the roots sort of grow as well. But, you know, for us, we have to do the work of actually grounding ourselves, right? So again, whatever works for you, meditation, journaling, all different types of things that you can do, pouring into yourself, self-care, which is coming up a little bit later on with the Ace of Cups. So just think about that. I think that's actually like really a collective kind of message. It has been for this year, and I think it will continue to be, that it's really about sort of, you know, finding ways to, you know, really sort of like take care of and love oneself, and not sort of using that in the, you know, like meaning that like really deeply, you know, like really sort of thinking about that in the truest sort of sense of like, why are we here? How do we sort of care for ourselves, mind, body, and spirit, the service that we sort of, you know, provide to others, to the world. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent. Let's get back to your reading. In June, you have the 9 of Wands, okay? So I'm just getting an energy here. So just quickly, as I like looked over the reading, okay, I am like picking up that for some of you, it feels like there's like an air sign, okay, possibly, or like an air energy, okay, and a fire sign. Now, I don't want to say necessarily that these are people. It could sort of be situational, but I'm just picking up on this kind of dichotomy, okay? And this actually came up in the Aries reading, this card. So I almost feel like, you know, I actually feel like part of the message is, again, for you. Like, it seems like your responsibilities, or just sort of, again, like the opportunities that are available for you, will continue to increase. So I feel like there's this need to sort of, you know, make sure that you're really kind of paring down and prioritizing, but only so that you don't like overburden yourself, right? So really thinking about what's important, what do you want to work on now, versus maybe what are some things that you can kind of put to the back burner, right? Also thinking about really cultivating that, again, sort of deep sense of grounding. And in this card, I'm more so getting that it's about sort of, you know, maintaining your center and keeping like a calm and clear mind, because, you know, I'm not indicting you Scorpios here, but I'm almost getting like with this line in the background. Remember, we saw the Strength card, right? But there's two sides to fire energy, right? Fire can be, we can use fire to sort of grow and build and make things, right? Create things. Or we can use fire to destroy. And I just feel like this is saying, like, if you get overburdened, if you get overwhelmed, if you lose your sense of grounding and your sense of self, you run the risk of doing that, right? And that might threaten this foundation that you're otherwise working to build. I also am feeling like there's a bit of like a guarded energy maybe around a fire sign. Again, it doesn't have to necessarily be the case for all of you, of course. This is a general reading. And also, it doesn't have to be a fire sign per se. It could just be someone who sort of shows up in that kind of fiery energy. But I am getting like maybe you have, I don't know. For some of you, it could be like someone you already know. For some of you, it could be like a new person. But I just feel like there's a tendency maybe towards like conflict or disagreement, perhaps, in the connection. I feel like if that's resonating for you, that the message is more for you there, okay? In July, you have the Two of Cups, right? So again, a very significant soulmate connection, water energy, of course, like yourself, or Pisces is usually what I get off this card. Cancer, another water sign as well, right? Again, doesn't have to necessarily be an energy. It just could be talking about a connection, about a partnership. And it also doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, though this card is, you know, the imagery is very romantic. And of course, for some of you, this could be talking about developments in a connection, or meeting someone new, or again, sort of taking a relationship to another level. But for others of you, this could, you know, be talking about, you know, maybe again, like some friend or someone you partner with, someone who, you know, presents you with some sort of opportunity. But regardless, it's like, it's either, right? Because with the cups energy that we're seeing here, right? And we're getting into that. Remember I mentioned earlier, it comes in later in the year. We're getting what, I just sort of like lost my thought. Yeah, sorry. It comes in later in the year. With the cups energy, it's just indicative that, you know, whatever sort of transpiring around this time of the year was really connected with the heart space, right? So again, whether it's like a relationship matter, or if it's like something in terms of like your life purpose and your passion in that regard, okay? In August, you have the Princess of Cups, okay? I do feel like this is kind of you, okay? And I also feel like, you know, this is like, I feel like a broken record because I say this all the time, but it really is true, right? Like, slow and steady wins the race. There really is no need to rush things or to rush into anything. And again, I sort of feel like, you know, especially if like you're facing multiple options, okay, or at least two options, you know, kind of like just like seeing how things play out before, you know, just sort of like putting, you know, like investing all of your energy into sort of one option or one sort of choice, right? Really sort of seeing how things kind of, you know, play out over time and manifest over time, and what and who is right for you and what is not, okay? And that's coming in around August. In September, you have the King of Wands, right? So again, more fire energy here. I am wondering, like, again, I'm getting this sort of dichotomy, right? And I'm almost getting like, again, this is just an example, right? But the energy that I'm like seeing and picking up on is basically like, there's a person who, and like both people, right? Like, let's say all other things considered are the exact same, right? Like they can accomplish just as much. They have as many resources, whatever the sort of baseline is, right? I'm picking up on like a person who, again, sort of like takes things kind of slowly and like sees how things play out, versus someone who tries to like rush and control things, okay? And so whether if this is you in sort of opposing energies, okay, and just being aware of that, right? Because we all have either of those abilities within us. It's really about balance, right? Or again, whether if this is like two sort of choices or decisions that you're facing in a connection, of course, could be like I've mentioned, or in sort of a work sort of situation or dynamic, but it does feel sort of like either or, okay? In October, you basically have the card saying like, focus on yourself, right? And again, it's sort of playing into that message of like waiting and see, right? Not sort of rushing things, almost like, you know, if you've ever kind of noticed, like, again, this is just an example, but like if you've sort of been going through like a turbulent time in your life, right? And maybe like so many things are going on, nothing seems to be going right? And maybe you decide to, you're like, you know what, I'm just going to take a day, or I'm going to take a week or whatever, and just focus on me. I'm not going to worry about all this other stuff going on. I'm not going to, you know, try to keep like chasing things down, forcing things to happen, right? That control. And I'm almost getting that like in the month of October. And of course, for some of you, this is your birthday, start of your birthday season and month as well, right? So, you know, again, just like really kind of pouring into self, doing things that you love. Because I feel like you, right, are also very much so just continuing to sort of grow and change throughout the next year, you know? And so it almost feels like you're going to get to a place where like you'll want to have like a little bit of like reflection and time to yourself, you know, before it's like the next level, right? So that's coming in October. In November, you have the Eight of Wands. Okay, so more fire energy here. And again, almost like with this Ace of Swords in January, I just feel like a lot of communication, right? So again, for some of you, this could be, sorry about that, y'all. I literally thought I had put my phone on airplane mode. So anywho, hold on, now my dog is bothering me. Stop, Susie. Okay, so Eight of Wands, right? I'm just picking up on a very similar energy kind of to January in terms of like the flow and the amount of communication, whether that's again, and it feels like it's a combination thereof of like internal and external communication. So, I'm trying to think if there seems to be this emphasis, and I'm seeing like the Justice card again on like really focusing on balance, right? And making sure that your life overall is well balanced, as well as like your own personal energy, right? And then with December, we really do come back full circle, right? And it's interesting because when I saw the Ace of Swords, I was like looking ahead at that Prince of Swords because it feels very related. So maybe it's almost like something comes full circle, right? Like let's say for some of you, this could be like some type of, writing engagement or project. And maybe it's like by the time that we get to this time next year, you'll be at like a state of completion or editing or sending it, whatever, something along those lines. For others of you, this could be talking about sort of like a new kind of course of study, or again, I'm kind of getting like taking things to a new level. I'm seeing here sort of like, again, sort of doing research, learning something or communicating perhaps around something that you are already kind of like a subject matter expert on. Okay. I'm also picking up on Aquarius energy, right? So I felt, and then we saw with the Ace of Cups, actually, I neglected to mention the star energy. So again, it could be just talking about you and like your direction in life and like kind of up leveling. And obviously the star can talk about, having sort of like a public kind of platform or like fame of varying levels and degrees. Quite honestly, I don't really feel the need to clarify anything in your reading. I did in the, Aries reading, and it's a really cool deck that I use. Like I'd love to use it. It's a holographic tarot deck that my sister gave to me, but I just don't feel the need, if I sometimes don't clarify. In fact, oftentimes don't. I don't know. It's probably might be a lot different than a lot of other readers. But it works for me. And that's a lot of how my general readings are, as well as my client reading. So it just kind of is what it is. So let's go into the Oracle guidance. We're going to get look at that. This card always reminds me of the star card, number 66, healing, right? Because the star talks about healing. And of course, this has a sacred geometric shape that looks like a star on it. And then time out, right? Which is all about, time out reminds me of like Four of Swords energy. Again, making sure that we have a nice balance of rest, relaxation, sleep, right? Especially again, if your sort of work or workload is increasing, right? Or your, your levels of responsibility. It doesn't have to be, it's like, because of course you don't have to be doing more work. You have the number 3 creativity here. And I did especially feel that energy, with that Ace of Swords and the Ace of Wands, like this focus sort of on the solar plexus chakra. And again, for a lot of you, this could be talking about sort of, a creative sort of role in your life. For a lot of you, I'm picking up on writing specifically. So let me read for this card and then we'll get one more and close out the reading. So this card indicates the need to reconnect with your creative side to improve your quality of life and align yourself with source. By drawing this card, you are being encouraged to step out of your practical, logical mind and the seriousness of life in order to partake in lighthearted endeavors that are stimulating and fun. Playful creative expression is important because it raises your vibration, which brings you closer to your dreams. This is a time to immerse yourself in any creative endeavor that lifts your spirits and makes you feel good. It might take the form of playing a musical instrument, painting, writing, cooking, jewelry making, decorating, sewing, photography, landscaping, dancing, or designing. It doesn't matter what it is as long as it brings you joy. Through playful creative expression, you can heal disharmony in your body and disharmony in your life. And the affirmation here says, through playful creative expression, I make my dreams come true. I love that. We're going to get one more card from the Spirit Animal Oracle, and then we'll close out your reading. The descriptions in the guidance book for these are a little bit longer, but it's really good. So For those of you who are still with me, thank you, and continue to stay tuned because I love this deck. I love these cards. I love the messages that come along with them. They're super deep, and it's a really good, you know, overarching message for the year. Ooh, to that point, I realized I didn't pull an overall year energy, but remember we did see, what was it? The Six of Wands there, right? So victory, triumph energy. And also, you know, the Six of Wands, when I see it, oftentimes, to me, it talks about, you know, sort of like being celebrated and right. And again, kind of sort of like being on a public stage. So, all right. So the card you got, I'm just like neurotic a little bit here. Seahorse spirit, watch and wait. What did I say? Especially towards the end of the reading, right? That's what I was saying. I'm telling you, you literally can't make this stuff up. These are different decks, you know? Okay, so number 53, which breaks down to an 8. 8, of course, is a number of manifestation and abundance. I love it. Really good energy. Like I said, I have Scorpio in my chart, so maybe I'm biased. No, I'm kidding. Okay, the oracle message. Hovering gracefully, the seahorse observes with the perspective of one who is not engulfed by the drama. Remaining at a distance from all the turbulence, seahorse spirit appears at this time to remind you of the need to be neutral and gain perspective. Your message from seahorse spirit is, not my circus, not my monkeys. Wow. Are some of y'all dealing with a narcissist? Possible. If those of you who are, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Spirit wants you to know that even if you are tempted to jump into the fray and to try to fix things, the best way to serve yourself and others right now is to remain calm and simply watch and see. Another message here is that whatever your query, Seahorse Spirit asks you to step back from it. Be willing to explore things from different angles rather than a single one, and just observe what is possible. From the perspective of the position of the neutral observer, you will discover a myriad of opportunities and a deeper understanding of what you seek and why, and you will know beauty, truth, love, and wisdom. The protection message. Are you holding on to judgment, sure that your perspective is the only correct way to look at things? There are as many perspectives as there are creatures in the sea, and when Seahorse Spirit appears, you are reminded to detach from the experience so you can view it from more than one angle. Pay attention to your hidden beliefs and how they affect the way you think, feel, and act. Are you being fair to all involved, or do you need to step back? Perhaps the drama you have been drawn into is your own. Whatever the actions of others, your challenge is to be non-reactive and not take their words or behaviors personally. Their turbulence may have little to do with you, so remain neutral until you know more. Your perspective may be quite different in time. I mean, there really is not a whole lot more to be said there, right? And honestly, like, obviously that's coming up again as part of the general guidance for you for the year, right? We're not talking about a week, we're not talking about a month, we're talking about a year, right? So this can really be sort of like a mantra for you. Watch and wait, right? But to me, that's like a really good philosophy in life, right? Is to not be reactionary, because we can't control, you know, things or people outside of ourselves, right? And also, so often, right, this is why I love the book, The Four Agreements, because it talks about why you shouldn't take anything personally, right? And why you shouldn't make assumptions. Those are two of the four agreements. So Scorpio, I hope that this reading resonated, because it's really beautiful. I know it definitely resonated for me. If, again, you'd like to book a personal reading, you can do so through my website. If the reading did resonate, please don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Like, what do I usually say at the end of these? I don't even remember. So thank you so much for watching. Again, happy solstice, great conjunction, holidays, new year to all of you. And I look forward to seeing you in the new year for your next reading. Take care. Bye.